Chapter 14, Monica McGoldrick, Betty Carter, the family life cycle. We're born into families. We develop, we grow, we die, hopefully within the context of our families. Our problems are framed by formative courses of our family's past, present, and what we aspire to be our future. What we understand to be normal, what we understand to be functional, is socially and psychologically constructed within the family cycle. The family is a system moving through time, kind of unlike the moving sidewalks at Disney World. All families have roles and functions. They have roles that are assigned to children from the time they're born, rules, both spoken and unspoken, for families, and things that they feel are important to accomplish that make them then a functional emotional system where they can transmit their belief systems to the other members of their family, taking care of the younger ones, the disabled ones, the elderly ones, providing financially, providing in nurturance, providing with all of the things that are necessary to make a family continue. Non-family systems, roles and functions of systems are carried out in a much less stable way. Replacement of those, disengagement, disenfranchisement of those who leave. Enmeshed families are not functional as well because they're not able to have some boundary and some space for each person to be an individual. Spiritual and cultural factors certainly take a place in that, looking at Elder and Newgarden and their research, the family values and attitudes toward life cycle transitions. Do we allow our children to have the ability to launch? Do we address failure to launch? Do we keep the boundaries so rigid that no one else can come in, or so loose and amorphous that anyone can come in and bring in issues that are contraindicated for safety? What is the stigmatization of divorce, of same-sex, of unmarried, of teen pregnancies, of abortion, adoption, affairs, infidelity, and how do we understand that? Looking at page 379, there is a context for assessing problems across the life cycle. There is the interspiritual self, the intrapsychic self, is physical self of the client sitting in front of you. The immediate, extended family, friends and community, the larger society. Unpredictable things like accidents, migrations, natural disasters, illnesses, unemployment, economic and political or horizontal stressors, vertical stressors, things that are there, racism, sexism, classism, family emotional patterns, triangles, secrets, legacies, violence, addictions, genetic abilities, and disabilities. So looking at that as an assessment process. Anxiety and symptoms. What are those things? How are individuals experience anxiety and depression? What happens when an entire family group experiences depression and anxiety because the family is failing to function because of loss, because of marriage, divorce, remarriage, death, launching, birth, expansion, or restricted family groups? What is this changing structure of our family as women enter the workforce, fathers enter the families more so as a caretaker, with fatherless homes, with grandparents who were providing child care and then died or weren't able, became sickly, or were moved to nursing homes or hospitals? What is the family schema? How do we enhance the development and the milestones of both autonomy, where there's some separateness of self, and emotional connectedness for both males and females? Do we socialize our families different according to gender, according to adherence to faith system, according to adherence to belief systems about how families go? What happens with family secrets? What happens in our family stays in the family. And when you go into counseling in that room without me, those things are not discussed. If they are discussed, then you have broken and betrayed the family hidden agenda. What happens when you have legacies of abuse and neglect, and understanding of kind of a payoff system that Nog set forth in his family systems theory. Working with families at different phases of the life cycle and different hierarchies, going back to structural family systems with Mnuchin and Bowenian family systems with Murray Bowen. Very, very helpful. Looking at Adlerian family treatment. It's very helpful at understanding how to deal with families that are between, with young adulthood, families that are marrying but as a couple but have no children, families that are bringing children either through adoption, foster, or biological birth into there. What kind of problems surface? What is the Ericksonian task, the psychosocial task for each one of these experiences? How do families change with adolescence? What happens when you have adult children, adolescent children, middle school children, and preschool children all living in the same family with both parents working without extended family member and child care situations? What happens to families and couples at midlife when children are launching and moving on, when then grandchildren are coming out? The father-daughter relationship may be problematic in adolescent. The father-son relationship, understanding who I am and jockeying for position. The mother-daughter relationship, mother-son relationship, all have the capability of being very strong, very functional. They all have the capability of beginning to fall apart under change. Transition and change is either handled well by families who are functional, even if those families choose to come into counseling to get help. That is not a sign of weakness. It can be very much a sign of strength. But dysfunctional, chaotic families tend to fall apart during transitional times of change. Families in later life, when children are gone and maybe the work is gone and the couple is back together like they were at the young couplehood, do they still stay together? Is there still a sense of emotional satisfaction in the relationship? We've talked at length about divorce, single parenting, and remarriage, but that still is something that comes in. Descriptions of typical life family cycles are affected by culture, ethnicity, race, religion, sexual orientation, community, and social constructs. The definition of family is changing depending on cultural and social constructs. Ask your families what they're facing, how they see themselves, what they understand themselves to be, hesitantly, tentatively, respectfully, as you move forward. Thanks so much.